You know, why don't we provide people with the shrimp already made? Because that would be good, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, and there's lots of people doing that. Cheap Arduinos are out there. But if you want to build an Arduino and along the way learn what it takes to build an Arduino, which one's pin 1, how does a breadboard work? You know, that kind of thing. So I do take issue sometimes with what people are learning. And if you're sitting down and you're soldering a circuit that somebody else has designed, somebody else has done all the layout, done all the thinking, and then, you know, how different is that from what these guys do all day? You know, if we're going to look at UK PLC, the knowledge economy, the creative economy, we need to empower people to do stuff themselves. So we don't preload the chips. That's because it'd be easy to send you a kit which has got the program on it already. But then you don't see the IDE, you don't see the code. In the context of the persistent division, for example, all the font information is in there. So you can dig in there and go, oh right, so that font, I could change that out, copy, paste that, so now it's got a different pixel font. Or you could design your own icons. It's a great reason to learn binary. So you start constructing your own bytes, type those numbers in with comments in the right part of the code, and then you're painting your own icon that you designed with felt tip pen on a piece of graph paper. And stuff like this, which is almost not documented at all, right? Get a coin, put it in Coke, cleans it off nicely, then solder it between 2 pieces of strip board, and then you can control the pull-up resistors in software here, and make 4 buttons. So you can build your own tilt switch for 1 pen plus strip board. Another thing that's really fundamental to what we're doing, lead from behind. One thing that people very often say to us in this context is, this isn't new. You know, people have been doing this for years. Absolutely. That's what we're relying on, right? That's because there's lots of good documentation out there, there's great ways of doing it, there's lots of different ways of doing it, and we're curating that, documenting it and consolidating it into something that regular people can use. They will eventually become electronics engineers, probably, or software engineers, probably, but you don't have to start there. So, we're drawing on what's out there. We're not the guru of anything. It's much more like a great big colony of people doing stuff. And I'm one of the ants, at best. So just as an example, anybody know what that is? Nobody in the audience? I got called out once, somebody did know. That is a form of ancient Chinese currency. So, of that time, and for those people, that was an extremely valuable thing. And the thing is, we don't see that value because we're not them. So, understanding what that value is involves opening things up to them and listening to them. And here is a classic case of that, which is that somebody's just gone off and built a PCB anyway, and it's brilliant, and he's there. So, you know, write up all this stuff about wiring PCBs. But what he's done is he's documented it so that other people can do it themselves. He's not providing the PCB, he's providing you the means of figuring out how to make a PCB, which is a whole different story. So, well done, thank you. And well done to Art Squire and the co-author, where's his name correct? Co-author of the Arduino cookbook, Hacking Scripts in London Hackspace.
The main author. He's the main author.
The main author. Oh, okay, thank you. And you know, people figuring out how to do it with surface mount components on strip board, which doesn't surprise me. People not bothering with any kind of strip board at all, or breadboard or anything. And you know, that's somewhat elegant. This is just solder it on the chip. Why not? Move it around between breadboards. But we've also got kind of weird spin-offs like, not weird, brilliant spin-offs, like the shrimp bot. And this is, I don't know, it's an interesting thing is that people are taking the name and they're just using it. And we're kind of okay about that, in that that's a shrimp bot. I've since built a robot and I can't call it a shrimp bot because somebody's already built it. And that's fine, you know. And so Geek Wars built a shrimp bot. He's working in Accrington Stanley with kids making robots move around with Python and C. We've got people like Imagication with maybe aliens somewhere around, and then knocking together weather stations based on the shrimp. And again, there's a lot of craft and design things there. It's not just about software electronics, and it becomes a project rather than merely an experiment. And this is lovely, fairly new development, the shrimp key. So it's a makey that's built on a shrimp. And I'm working with Stuart to sort of turn that into a breadboard version, which is right here. maybe get a demo of that before the end of the session with a bit of luck. It's never really worked before, so I've never tried it, so we'll have to see. So, fundamentals of what we're looking at. It's anticipate emotion. So figure out how something is going to have, what experience somebody's going to have when following along with your project or picking up what you're doing. And it can very often be easy to make it a bit more accessible, maybe change some of the words, maybe give them put some extra effort into finding where regular people can buy things, if you're buying things from unusual or specialist places. Maximise possible features. Don't just think about your own getting it working. Oh no, it's working, that's fine, I'll tweak it and that's it. Think in terms of, well, okay, I could just spend a little bit longer on it, and then lots of people can reuse it in lots of ways, as has happened with our project. I'm really pleased to see it. Leave from behind. It's got to be other people that tell us what to do, because we've hardly any got an idea what we're doing. Make problems. So create opportunities for people to solve things by actual contact with the prototyping steps, because that's how they will learn prototyping. And then focus on projects rather than electronics and software. There's a tendency towards, in science, in STEM subjects, an alienating educational model, which is around deferred gratification. So if you learn this, and you just spend the next 7 years of your life learning math, eventually you'll realise why it's useful and you'll get a job probably. And that works for some people. There's a whole lot of people for whom that is the turn-off, that is the reason they don't do it. So think in terms of projects, think in terms of getting good stuff out. Futures, quite a lot of futures possibly, because we're getting a lot of contact from people. And one thing that we want to do just internally to our own project is probably move into documenting the soldering builds a bit more. They exist, but they're not documented. So if you're interested in doing soldering workshops with stripboard, then you can take our vector art and have a crack at some of the things we've been doing. There's Internet of Things and Bluetooth and two-wheel robots and so various other things happening. This is quite nice. It's a £6 Ethernet shield, I think, with a shrimp, and it builds a web server. Pretty easy to do. So thank you very much. I'm going to try a demo whilst questions come in. That's all right.
Round of applause, please. And while the demo is being assembled, if anyone has a question.